All right. Good morning, everybody. What is up? Matt Modi here with another live stream of NBA Fast Break Bets presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Shout out DraftKings Sportsbook. As everybody in here probably already knows knows this by now at this time, live every Wednesday and Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern, giving out one pick for each game on the NBA slate. Today, we only have 6 games, so what we're going to do, at least one pick for every game, and then a couple games with multiple picks as well. On Wednesday, to do a little bit of a recap, we had another bounce back stream on Wednesday. We went 7-3 on our 10 picks with a profit of 3.9 units. I track everything, assuming you were able to put 1 unit on each play. That brings our total profit on the year. We are up 8.58 units. And moving forward, I'm going to be tracking the ROI as well. And we have an ROI of 5.26%. Keep in mind that with such a high volume of picks, it's only natural for the ROI to go down. The people with the highest ROI are the people that are the most selective. But considering on the NBA season, we're 163 picks deep. We have a record of 82-81. I would say that an ROI above 5% is pretty good. But for today, for whatever reason, Fridays have been rough for us. I don't understand why. I don't really think there's actually anything to that. I think it's just bad luck. But let's hope we can turn things around on today's stream. While you're here, and we appreciate you for joining us on this Friday morning, make sure to subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel. Share the link with your friends so we can get these bangers in front of as many people as possible. And then, of course, get your questions and comments in the chat. When you see me look over, I'm monitoring the chat, so I see some comments in here. Don't bother me. I wish DraftKings would get cleared in California. You and me both, my friend. I don't live in California, but it would be nice. Andre, what's up? Appreciate you, as always, for tuning in. And then you can also, of course, find me at pretty much anywhere at Jedi Modi. And let's get into it. So again, 10 picks on the docket for today. And I try to have as many plus money bangers as possible. Today, I was able to make it so literally every single pick was a plus money banger. That's always fun. Starting off in the Raptors versus 76ers game, Scottie Barnes, 3+ made 3-pointers, plus 280 odds at DraftKings. So for the first play of the slate, I had to go with a pretty spicy banger, hopefully getting Scottie Barnes to get to 3 made 3-pointers for us. I actually think the plus 280 odds is pretty good value. He's hit this in 9 of 27 games this year, so it's only 1/3 of the time. But plus 280 odds is pretty good value for something that only hits 1/3 of the time. Granted, that's not really the way you should be betting win percentage versus the odds. It's just kind of interesting that I think plus 280 is pretty good. The real reason why I like this play is, like I said, he's done it in 9 of 27 games on the year, but he's been hot recently when you look at a little bit of a larger sample size than his most recent games. So he's missed this in 3 straight. He hasn't hit 3 or more 3-pointers in 3 straight games. Prior to that, he had hit 3 or more 3-pointers in 3 straight games, and he's done it in 5 of 7 as well. So with this recent cold streak, the 3-game cold streak, we're fading immediate recent results, which those of you who tune in know that's something that I love to do. But the larger sample size does work in our favor. Generally, I will say the Sixers do a pretty good job at guarding the 3-point line, but I also will say if they don't respect someone as a shooter, they're just going to leave him wide open. That's a classic Nick Nurse style defense. If they don't respect someone as a shooter, they're going to leave him open. Scottie Barnes has been better in the shooting department, but I'm still not going to say really that he's a great shooter. And I will admit that Scottie Barnes did miss this in the first 2 games these 2 teams played this year. That was when he hadn't quite found his jumper. It was played at the end of October / beginning of November. So that was before his recent hot streak from deep. In those 2 games, he still attempted a combined 12 3-pointers. So the volume was there. Hopefully he can come through for us today. Would be lovely to get a plus 280 cash. Excuse me. Next up, same game, Raptors versus 76ers. We're taking Jakob Poeltl, 10+ points. This is at plus 110 odds at DraftKings. So I found this play using Betting Pros, using their prop analyzer, using the cheat sheet, which we'll get into in a little bit. Betting Pros projects him to score 11 points in this one. So what you could do is take his main line, which is the actual positive EV play, was over 8.5 at minus 125 odds. But if Betting Pros is projecting him to score more, I will also pump up that number a little bit to get plus money odds. We only increased it by a point, so hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us and he scores exactly 9. As good as the Sixers defense is overall, one area in which they do struggle is specifically against the opposing team's center. Now, I know that might seem counterintuitive because Joel Embiid's a great defender and he's obviously the Sixers center. But what that does, having Embiid patrol the paint, actually limits scoring at the rim more so from guards and wings. So a lot of times what happens is if the Sixers defense doesn't do a good job rotating, that leaves an easy dump off from the point guard / wing to the center that Embiid moved off of, or they end up getting a Kobe assist where Embiid contests the shot, they miss it, but Jakob Poeltl is there to clean it up, or I should say the center is there to clean it up. In this case, that would be Jakob Poeltl. So either way, it ends up benefiting the opposing center a decent amount. Because of that, the Sixers are listed as the 7th easiest matchup in the NBA, again, specifically against opposing centers. Poeltl's having a pretty good year overall. He's hit 10 or more points in 16 of 27 games this year. Now, he has missed it in 2 straight. Prior to that, he had hit it in 3 straight. The last time these two teams played, he had exactly 9. So let's hope that, again, we don't get screwed by pumping it up 1 point and that he can get to double digits for us, cashing our second play of the slate. Next up in the Nuggets versus Nets game, we're taking Kentavious Caldwell-Pope over 1.5 made 3-pointers plus 150 odds at DraftKings. So the Nets defense, they have a pretty good number of 3-and-D long, lanky wings. So you wouldn't expect this, but they're actually one of the easier matchups in the NBA for targeting like guard 3-point props. Actually, according to some metrics, they are literally the easiest matchup if you look into shooting guards specifically. Now, KCP, his role on the Nuggets is generally to play good defense, but his role on offense is just to stretch the floor, catch and shoot, take open corner threes. He doesn't quite have the ceiling to go much above this number, much higher than 2 made. He's only done like 3 or more, gotten 3 or more to cash twice this year, but he does pretty consistently at least get to 2. He's done that in 15 of 27 games so far this year. He is, he is in the middle of a cold streak recently, but for this game, for this matchup, I like for him to cover this one for us. Generally, for someone as consistent as KCP, a cold streak means that a hot streak is going to come very quickly. Hopefully that starts today. So we're 3 picks deep, and I've hinted at the app a little bit, but what I want to talk about now is a 1-year premium subscription giveaway. So I'll talk about how I use the app in a little bit. What I'm talking about now is how you can get a free year of the premium subscription. All you need to do, if you want a year free, it's a place on the Betting Pros premium subscription where you can bet smart, not bet hard. All you need to do is subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel. Again, hopefully you are already doing that. And then if you're subscribed, all you got to do after that is comment below on the video. That's it. A winner is going to be announced right here on the channel. So while you're subscribing, make sure to turn those notifications on as well so you can be alerted when new episodes drop, and then you can claim your prize. Again, a 1-year premium subscription giveaway. Comment and subscribe, and that's how you will be entered. So 3 picks deep. Let's next talk about the Mavericks versus Rockets game, and we're taking Alperen Sengun over 20.5 points. This is at plus 105 odds at DraftKings. Real quick, I see a comment in here. What are the attempts for Pope? I don't have the exact number. It's not something that I wrote down in my notes, but from what I remember researching it, he consistently gets up between 3 and 5, sometimes between 7 and 9. So I think against the Nets, who give up a lot, specifically to guards, that number will probably be up a little. But again, I don't have that exact number in front of me. But anyways, next play again, Sengun over 20.5 points, plus 105 at DraftKings. So before I get into the analysis for this one thing that I do want to say is that as of right now, because there's so many injuries on the Mavericks side, they don't have any odds out for any Mavericks player. As soon as they drop, I'm going to look heavily into Jaden Hardy props. I want to see if there's any value there. No Luka, no Kyrie, his usage is going to skyrocket. So obviously the books are going to take that into account a little bit, but I want to see how much. If there is value there, I will play it. So make sure to follow me on Twitter to see if I tweet something out. Also make sure to check out the Betting Pros app. You can look specifically into that game as well, and they'll give you what the odds are. With that said, with that out of the way, I do like targeting Sengun a lot in this one against the Mavs. So there's a couple reasons why I like this play. Number one, the Mavs are a very easy matchup for centers, which we'll get into in a little bit. But after the last Rockets game, Rockets head coach Ime Udoka came out and he did call out Sengun for his defense and say that's why Sengun was benched at the end of the game against the Hawks. That represents a great buy low opportunity for Sengun, and luckily for the Rockets, they're playing the Mavericks, who, as I mentioned, are going to be missing both Luka and Kyrie, so they don't really have that great of an offensive pick and roll weapon to take advantage of Sengun on defense like he was against the Hawks. So I don't think he's going to get played off the floor in this one. And again, without even looking at the matchup against the Mavs, it represents a pretty good buy low opportunity. Luckily, the matchup against the Mavs is pretty juicy for centers. The Mavs allow the second most points per game in the NBA, specifically to centers. Now, Sengun did miss this last game, playing in limited minutes because, as I mentioned, he got benched. But prior to the two games, he had cashed over 20 and a half points. And overall, he's hit this in 13 of 25 games. The last time that, I was looking at the comments real quick. The last time that these two teams played, the Mavericks and the Rockets, Sengun put up 31 points. I'm not quite expecting that tonight, but I do think that he will have another good game. David H., just in here saying thank you. Thank you for joining. Carl, thank you for your comment. That is very nice. Bayday BMW, ready to get started with basketball. I love that. And I guess the comments aren't showing up, so hopefully we can get that fixed shortly. Andre, I apologize for that. To confirm the last two plays since the last comment is Kentavious Caldwell-Pope over 1.5 made three-pointers and Alperen Sengun over 20.5 points. So we're 4 picks deep. Next up in the Hawks versus Heat game, we're taking Clint Capela under 11.5 points. So you can get this under 12.5 at DraftKings at minus 125 odds, or you could take, according to the Betting Pros consensus line, you could get under 11.5 for plus money odds elsewhere. I found this play using the Betting Pros app. Another situation where the main line of this play is that under under 12.5 at minus 125 odds. But Betting Pros projects Clint Capela to score 10 points in this game. So if you want to take the main line under on DraftKings, that's a positive EV play. What I did was I just deflated that down a little bit and I got better odds. So this one is definitely going to feel a little bit scary. Capela has been playing well recently. He's gone over this number, over 11.5 and 12.5 in 6 straight games and in 8 of the last 10. So this is the ultimate fade of recent events. This is what I'm going to dub our Pepto play of the day, which doesn't mean Pepto play isn't a play that I dislike. It's a play that just feels a little bit scary. With that said, I do really, really like this play. First of all, it's one of the situations where you wonder why the books are pricing the play the way they are. If he's consistently clearing this over, why aren't they just pricing his point total up a little bit? It's not like a 3-point prop or an assist prop where one stat, whatever you want to call it, significantly impacts the price for points. That is less so the case, even as low as 11.5 or 12.5. For a point total prop in an NBA game, the books are generally pretty sharp. They get a lot of action on these main props for the NBA. So they're generally pretty tight with the lines. So it's one of those ones where you just question, why are the books pricing it the way they are? The real reason why I like this play and why I think the books are pricing it the way they are, A, the flip-flop method. Generally, things start to swing back the other way. But most importantly, the matchup against the Heat is a tough one, specifically for centers. Bam is a great defender for players like Capela. The reason why, Capela doesn't really have a bag on offense. He doesn't have any back to the basket type of game. He doesn't have a post game. Doesn't have an elbow game like we see Embiid and Jokic and the best centers in the game. And Capela isn't the type of center who can take advantage of Bam being a slightly undersized center. He's a great center. He's a little bit undersized for the Embiids and the Jokic's of the world. Bam is so quick and so athletic that just being a lob threat like Capela is, Bam does a pretty good job defending that. And because there aren't a lot of Embiids and Jokic's in the NBA, the Heat do not give up a lot of points to centers. They actually give up the fewest points per game specifically to centers in the NBA. Overall, only one of the past 7 centers against the Heat have gone over their point total over under. That was Mo Wagner, who scored 11 points on an over-under of 8.5. So being able to fade the recent results, being able to take Capela to go under for a positive EV play on Betting Pros, I love. That is our fifth play. Halfway done. Next up, same game. We're sticking with the Hawks versus Heat. We're taking Dejounte Murray over 2.5 made three-pointers plus 135 odds at DraftKings. As good as the Heat defense is, what I was saying earlier about guarding centers, one area in which they are not good and where they struggle is A, defending the three-point line, but B, even more so, defending the three-point line against guards. I'm talking both point guards and shooting guards. In general, they're a little bit below average at guarding the three-point line. They allow 13.5 made three-pointers per game. That's 19th in the NBA. It's not horrible. It's definitely below average, but it's not bottom third. And they allow their opponents to shoot 37.7% from deep. That's 22nd in the NBA. So a little bit worse, yes, in the bottom third. But against guards, and again, point guards and shooting guards, they allow the third most three-pointers per game, specifically to those two positions, at 7.08. Again, that's third most. Overall, the Heat are listed as the second easiest matchup if you're targeting shooting guard three-point props. And Murray, this is a situation where we are not fading recent results. Murray has been hot recently from deep. He's hit this in 2 straight games, and he's hit this in 4 of 6 games as well. Depending on how a player is playing recently, sometimes that scares me off. But in this case, I'll back a hot shooter in an easy matchup, hopefully getting Dejounte Murray to come through for us. So we are 6 picks deep. And I've mentioned a couple times how I use the Betting Pros app to find these plays. So I just want to dive into that a little bit more. You can find it at bettingpros.com/apps. It's in the link of the link is in the description of this video as well. So what I use it mostly for, and I don't just use it on days I do these NBA streams for Betting Pros. I use it for football. I use it for my own NBA plays. I use the prop bet cheat sheet a lot, and I love it. You can find recommended picks based on the current lines that the sports books are offering. So the sports books over under, and also based on the projections that Betting Pros comes out with themselves. That's where I find these pumped up or deflated down props, finding situations where Betting Pros is pretty significantly different, for lack of a better word, than what the sports books are offering. You can find really, really good value there. I lock in all my picks, and I do so on the app itself. So you can find my profile and tail me on the app itself, bettingpros.com/Modi, just my last name. Again, link to that in the description of the video. I mentioned the premium subscription, the giveaway that we're doing. You can also sign up for a free trial directly on the app. Download the Betting Pros app, access a free trial to the premium offering, and then the app syncs with your sports books. So you log in to the apps through the Betting Pros app, syncs with your sports books. So it does all the tracking that you don't need to do manually. bettingpros.com/apps. It's great. I use it all the time. I definitely recommend it. 6 picks deep. Let's get to some more. Next up, in the Wizards versus Warriors game, we're taking Klay Thompson over 4.5 made three-pointers, plus 135 odds at DraftKings. Bayday BMW, if you don't have it, it's golden. Love the product. I agree with you. Thanks for the comment. So whenever a team plays the Wizards, it's essentially like a choose your own adventure video game, deciding how you want to target them. They're bad literally everywhere. You could find a plus matchup basically anywhere against the Wizards defense. The route I decided to go in this game is obviously backing Klay three-pointers, because I love Klay in this game specifically. At this point in his career, post-injuries, we all know Klay to be a pretty streaky shooter. So this is another situation similar to a couple of the ones that I've talked about, where we actually are not fading recent results. We're backing them. On the year, Klay has only hit 5 or more three-pointers in 6 games this year. 3 of those 6 times have come in the last 4 games. And in the 1 game that he missed, he hit exactly 4, and he did so on 9 3-point attempts. If you put up 9 3-point attempts against the Wizards, that's essentially like warming up. Hopefully, even if if he only gets up 9, I still like him to hit 5. If he gets up more than 9, then I really like him to shoot 5 or to make 5. What's kind of funny is that if you just look at raw stats that the Wizards give up, the one area in which they literally aren't worst or second worst in the NBA is specifically allowing 3-pointers made and attempted and all that stuff. The reason why they allow such little resistance to the rim teams generally don't need to shoot. They can just get to the rim and score at will. The thing with the Warriors, though, they're not the type of team to attack the basket, a lot of pace and space, motion type of offense. So what I see happening more in this game is Steph driving to the basket, having no resistance, because that's the classic Wizards defense. And instead of going up with it, kicks it out to an open Klay. The Wizards, sorry, I'm reading a comment and I get a little bit distracted. The Wizards are, in terms of matchup, 3-point props against shooting guards, ranked 26th in terms of guarding shooting guards and allowing 3-pointers made. That definitely helps with this prop. So Klay Thompson over 4.5 made 3-pointers. Dale, thank you for commenting. I love you for joining and for commenting. Andre Love, all the plays being plus money bangers can be profitable without winning more than half your bets. That is exactly the type of logic. It doesn't mean you should only bet plus money bangers, but if you can, you definitely should, because you can be like what we're doing for this live stream. We're 82 and 81 overall, but we're up 5%, over 5% ROI because of the plus money bangers. So you're right on it. All right, our 8th pick of the slate. We're sticking in the same game, Wizards versus Warriors. And this is by far our spiciest play of the day in terms of odds. But we're taking Steph Curry, 10 plus assists, plus 650 odds at DraftKings. Now, this one is obviously a dart throw. So if you're going to tail and you're too nervous to put the full unit on it, then you can obviously scale it down. But I love Steph to rack up a ton of assists in this game. One thing that I do want to comment, and I'm actually going to ask for your guys' help here, is I'm not sure what's going on with Chris Paul. The reason why, he doesn't have any props listed on any book. There are no Chris Paul props listed. But he also isn't ruled out for tonight, and he also isn't even listed as questionable based on the research that I did. And I did look into it this morning. I don't know if I'm missing something, if there was a report that I just didn't see when I was researching it. All the sources that I looked at didn't say anything about Chris Paul missing tonight, but there are no props out for him available. So if anybody here can find anything on Chris Paul, let me know. The last I saw was that he had an illness, but he was expected to play, and he did play on Tuesday's game against the Celtics. Anyways, so if Chris Paul doesn't play tonight, and even if he does, I really like this as a smash spot for Steph Curry assists. And he's only gotten 10 or more assists one time this year. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's a lock. I'm not going to fade a superstar like someone did, tell you it's a 6-unit whale lock of the century type play. That's not what's happening. And if you wanted to be a little bit safer, you could take him over 5.5 or over 6.5, which is where his main line is at. But with that said, as I mentioned, basically in every stream and when the Wizards play, their defense is a joke. Steph is going to be able to go through screens and is going to be able to do whatever he wants. So the logic here for him getting to 10 assists is instead of shooting a lot, he dishes it a lot to open shooters and guys under the basket. So that's Klay Thompson from 3, which helps with our previous play. That is Kuminga under the basket, Looney under the basket, stuff like that. The Wizards allow the second most assists to point guards in the NBA. They allow the most assists in the just total assists per game in the NBA as well. And by a wide margin, so the Wizards allow 30 assists per game. The next closest team, the second highest, is at 28.6. That is a full 1.4 assists below them, which I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but that 1.4 assist difference is the same difference as the second highest team and the 8th highest team. So it's a massive gap in terms of the Wizards allowing assists. So again, this play goes within the logic for Klay Thompson 3-pointers as well. I would love if we could get this Steph Curry one to cash, because our win percentage would need to be very low for us to still be profitable. And again, if you wanted to be safer, you could. We're 8 picks deep. Before I get into the last 2, I want to talk to you about the Betting Pros Discord. So hopefully those of you in here, I'm assuming you're all sports betting enthusiasts. And if you're looking to up your game as a sports betting enthusiast, look no further than the Betting Pros Discord. You can find it bettingpros.com/chat. In the Discord, there is a bunch of expert handicappers giving you free picks for basically any sport you're looking at. NFL, NBA, the main 2, college basketball, college football. We got hockey. We got soccer if you're into that, player props, live betting, futures, anything you're looking for, you can find in the Betting Pros Discord. You can also gain insights from the pros themselves, so you can up your own strategy. So not only picks to tail, ways to up your own strategy as well. So get in on the Betting Pros Discord, take your sports betting experience to the next level, bettingpros.com/chat. So 2 more picks. They're both going to be in the Suns versus Kings game. The first one, we're taking De'Aaron Fox under 29.5 points, plus 120 odds at DraftKings. So this was a play that I did find on the Betting Pros app, the cheat sheet. Technically, the positive EV play was under 30.5 points. Betting Pros only projects Fox to get to 26.6, basically 26.5 points in this one. And DraftKings was offering such good odds on the under 29.5 that's where I decided to go. I decided to deflate it down one number to get better odds. Obviously, Fox is awesome. That's always going to be a concern. But the Suns have a pretty decent defense, and they're also pretty good at guarding point guards. Now, that's the Frank Vogel effect. Everywhere he's been, he's always coached up a good defense. But the Suns are the 7th hardest matchup in the NBA against point guards. So yeah, they're not among the best. Definitely pretty good. We'll take top 7. Now, of course, as I mentioned, Fox is awesome. And he's more than capable of blowing up against the hardest matchup in the NBA. So there's always going to be a concern there. But he's gone under 29.5 points in 10 of 20 games, so exactly half. And 3 times he had exactly 30 points. So in a tough matchup and a positive expected value play from Betting Pros, I like fading Fox in this one. Hopefully that can come through for us. And last up, 10th and final pick of the slate, Domantas Sabonis over 0.5 made three-pointers, plus 145 odds at DraftKings. So basically he makes 1 or more three-pointer. Another positive expected value play that I found on Betting Pros. I didn't need to pump this up or deflate this one down. I just took it as is. A 5-star, 34.5 positive EV play. Betting Pros essentially gives Sabonis a 55% chance of going over this number. So getting him at plus 145 odds is really good value. That is a very high positive EV play, as evidenced by the actual numbers behind it. Now, obviously, Sabonis isn't known as like a stretch big or anything like that, but he does kind of shoot a little bit. Nothing crazy, but he does shoot a little bit. Overall, he has made at least 1 three-pointer in 11 of 26 games this year. That part isn't great, but it has been better recently. He only hit a 3 in 2 of his first 8 games. So since then, he's done it exactly half the time. That kind of is in line with the plus 145 odds being good value if it's something that he does half the time. And an even more recent sample size, he's done it in 5 of his last 10 games. So he's still hitting it half the time. So it wasn't like a hot streak in the middle of the season. He's basically been a 50% hit rate on making 1 three-pointer since the beginning of the year. And in the month of December, he's basically done it in every other game. Only 6 times this year has he not even attempted a three-pointer. And whenever he shoots one, he's always left open. He mostly takes between 1 and 3 a game. Hopefully he can get 1 to cash for us, cashing a plus 145 banger. And that's all we got. 10 plays, 10 plus money bangers for you guys to lock in. I'm confident that we are going to curb our Friday cold streak today and have a great day. Remember, if you want to be entered for a 1-year premium subscription and giveaway, subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel, comment on this video. That's how you will be entered. Check out the Betting Pros app at bettingpros.com/apps and the Discord at bettingpros.com/chat. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. You can find me at my Twitter handle at JediModi, basically anywhere. Appreciate everybody for watching. I hope you have a great weekend, and let's all make some money today.